वेलकम टू टाइम आउट विद स्पोर्ट्स अड्डा। हल्ला बोल तो ठीक है, ऐसे कौन हल्ला बोलता है भाई? Completely flourishing the whole, flushing RCB out of this tournament, and how it's a comprehensive defeat, I would say, comprehensive victory for RR, and they are cruising into the finals to avenge the Gujarat Titans. Salil, if we can have a look at the scorecard, and I don't think we need to see anything here. I think Butler has scored most
Absolutely
of the
nothing.
runs.
Well, clearly, I mean, it's a one-side affair, like we spoke about in the mid-inning show, where you have Joss Butler scoring that brilliant century and finishing out off with a six. Sanju Samson gave something, and like Rushabh said, he's going to throw his wicket away. He did just that, but luckily they just needed 30, 40 runs. So, I
Yeah,
mean, they've been lucky on that front. I think Josh Hazelwood was wrongly used. He should have been given the second over. Maybe that would have made a little bit of a difference to RCB because he was the
yeah,
pick of the
right.
bowlers there, and they got Maxwell and Shabazz on, and Yashasvi and both Josh Butler just took to them, and their score in the power play was upwards of 60. So
Yeah.
clearly that was a wrong move, I think. But apart from that one-sided scorecard, and no matter how easily this was chased down, it was set up by the bowling, which means it was a brilliant, brilliant team effort by Rajasthan Royals to really storm into the finals.
Absolutely.
And it's going to be fun now.
Now it's pressure on Gujarat because RR have not just won it by an inch or by just that much. They've comprehensively beaten a side, and they'll be very high on confidence. It's going to be a brilliant final. But speaking of Hazelwood, you pointed out that he was given just the 1 over. I think in games as such, I think you both would agree with me that wickets are the mantra. Like you said in the pre-match show, I think in the mid innings as well, that if
Yep.
RR lose early wickets, that is when RCB will have a chance in the game. But given that Hazelwood was not even given a couple of overs in the power play, shows itself that how much pressure was created on Faf du Plessis and the mistakes that he made as captain.
I think it was all because of Mohammad Siraj and the way he bowled. I don't think he bowled really
I
that
think
bad, but
Salil
Jaiswal
Rishabh
really
said that
took to him.
Rishabh said that Siraj will make the difference. Well, he did make the difference, Salil. You can
Yeah,
continue
I
and
mean,
tell me.
two overs for 31 runs was quite mediocre, I think, from that
Yeah,
effort. But brilliant batting there by Yashasvi Jaiswal, allowing Butler to get settled in 2 or 3 overs, and then he went after them. He just played 1 over of Josh Hazelwood, and when he was brought back in the seventh over, he took the wicket of Jaiswal. So clearly, it just told the story of the evening of things not going right for RCB. But yeah, apart from that, I think brilliant effort. Josh was the best that they could throw at Rajasthan Royals, and he just ended up with two.
absolutely. We'd made a few predictions before the start of the second innings. We can have a look at the results. Well, I am so happy to see Rishabh get some greens there because I think personally he lives in Mumbai, so he's used to being in red signals. So everything was red for him. Now it's turned green. So excellent, congratulations!
Oh,
A great
wonderful!
day,
Congratulations, Yash.
winning it,
Today you're the
winning
winner
it by that much, winning it by that much. I hope that
just
my
by
victory
that much.
was, yeah, exactly. Now, Rishabh, speaking of today's game, the way Butler took over the innings, it sets an example for the youngsters, players like Yashasvi Jaiswal, Devdutt Padikkal, even Shimron Hetmeyer to a certain extent, that this is how you dominate the T20 cricket. It's not just flashy shots, it's calculated risks, picking the right ball for the right shots. Because there was a time in the middle, I think, Rishabh, there were 3 or 4 overs where they scored run a ball or even less than that. And then came those two sixes off of Hasaranga. That is where the whole tide, completely got over with 5 overs
Yeah.
to spare. So, something about the class that he showed today, according to you, Rishabh?
I think this is what batting is about. Even if you see when you speak about Josh Butler, the first shot which comes to your mind is a scoop because he's so habitual to playing that shot. But today,
Yeah,
the first time he played that shot when he reached 90, when he got a
90.
boundary. So you see, that's what batting is all about. It's not always about just throwing your bat at everything. Sometimes it is about building the innings, especially the way Butler started off this entire season. Then did get runs in the middle. People were talking about how he's lost his form. He's trying a lot of things, not working out, and we could see that because he was not scoring, there was so much pressure on the middle order of
Yeah,
Rajasthan, which was crumbling and they were losing games. So this was a crucial game for him. And I think he showed what being calm in those situations means actually. Even if the target was just about 160, these are sticky targets, wherein you feel that at the start you feel, oh, there are so many less runs required, but suddenly maybe after 10, 12 over, you see that okay, the required run rate has reached 9 or 10, and then you start to get under pressure and
Panic.
lose the game from there. So there
Correct.
the experience counts on how you sort of build the game, take the innings together. And I think with the way he was batted, even if a Chehel or a Prasidh Krishna was sent to bat at number 3, I don't think that would have made the difference for Rajasthan, because there were only singles coming from one end and the ball was flying to the boundaries and Butler was doing
Yeah.
the job for them. So I think this is what T20 batting is all about. But I think this is just a step to take them to the finals. Now, what all he's been done will actually be worth it if they are able to put a dominant performance in the finals. And I think that is what will matter a lot more than the 700, 600 runs which Butler has got till now.
Actually, speaking of the runs that he scored, he's equaled the record of most number of hundreds in a single IPL season by a batsman, jointly by the legend, the master King Kohli, who had scored 400s in 2016, and Josh Butler again matching that record, and he's 100 runs short of beating that record. So even that is on the cards with Josh Butler. You never know. But Saeed,
Yeah.
from you, I would like to know what do you think of this RCB journey? They came on into this tournament with a very topsy-turvy kind of a start. A good auction for them, great side they got, and I think a lot of positives for them. But in the end, just falling short of the quality that Rajasthan have displayed throughout and the consistency that they have displayed. So, what do you have to say about this brilliant journey that they had?
Well, I think I wouldn't call it a brilliant journey as much as they had last year, purely because you have one of your retained players and your premier players who's not fired. Also, Harshal Patel, who's taken around 32 wickets in the previous year, has ended up with only 18. Siraj, who was brilliant in the last year, has been very quite mediocre,
Average.
you must say. He's gone for a lot of runs. He's gone for 8 or 9 runs and over, and that's not good if you're playing for India. So Maxwell's not been as good as last year. One very good thing that happened to them was the inclusion of Faf du Plessis, who scored, I think, top scored there, 440 odd runs, and Josh Hazelwood, both coming in from CSK, and I think they were brilliant buys, along with Dinesh Karthik, who was waiting to prove a point. So I think that's their journey, and Vanendu Hasaranga, who's taken a lot of wickets and currently joint purple cap holder. But at the same time, the rest of the team hasn't just fired. And you need teams to fire if you want to go and win a title. It's not that you've not
Yep.
won it for 12 years and been in 3, 4 finals. You are not winning it for a reason. You've not fired. So for today, if you look at the statistics, Josh Butler ended his innings after opening. He played 60 balls and he ended his innings with more than 100 runs. I think if any batsman in the top three end up playing 60 balls, they need to have a strike rate of more than 150 runs. And if you have that, that gives your bowling team a chance to either save it, or if you're playing with that kind of thing, you might be chasing 200 runs. So that's
Right.
the thing that makes the difference. If you look at all the players who've not been able to make it, all the teams that are winning, and those small contributions. So even a Yashasvi Jaiswal scored 21, but he scored it off 13 balls. So that makes the difference. That difference between the balls and the runs is the
Yeah,
scores that
matters
you
a lot.
pile on, is the score that you chase. And if your openers are not going to give you that kind of a start, if they're going at 110s, 120s, your team is on a 50 ball, 58 for one, you're expecting the rest of your team to come and score at more than 200 strike rate. That's even difficult for a Maxwell and Dinesh Karthik also to do in every match. So I think that's where they need to work on their match rather than looking at the big names that they've been having, and
Yeah.
that's what's made the difference in this IPL yet again. So another year, another RCB, sad exit. They had a chance. They won a great first eliminator, on to the second one, and their batting, which scored 200 runs, turned out with this. So they had scored big when they were winning matches, and you know that they are also the side that got bundled out for 68 runs. They are
Yeah,
also
they
the
did.
side that got bundled out for 68 runs. So I mean that's something that's not something that a side winning all the winning everything would really have.
You're right.
And quite honestly, I mean that's been the difference, right? You look at the champion sides like Gujarat, or you look at a Rajasthan, or even an LSG. Somewhere there has been some kind of consistency in their uh, in their performance. So I think that's the difference.
Right. So that's the difference between the winners today and the team that has been eliminated today. Now, Rishabh, final question. What would be the words from Kumar Sangakkara to his lads onto the finals, big game on Sunday? What would Kumar Sangakkara would be feeling, and even Sanju Samson out there?
The feeling will be surreal because if you see when they started off this season, I mean midway through the season, they had just one thing that they want to do it for the legend Shane Warne. They want to do it
Yeah.
for him. They want to win this season for him, and probably this was the strongest team on paper after the auctions. If you see, whatever the
Yeah, it
performance
was.
have been on the field is one part, but off the field on paper, this was probably the strongest team and also the strongest which Rajasthan Royals could also at any point of time
The
manage
strongest
in this
Rajasthan team
15
with the
years.
balance. Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Yes.
right.
So more importantly, knowing what how Sangakkara is, and if you follow their social media, he's a man of few words, and more often than not, when the team
Exactly.
doesn't do well, that is the time when he gives them that pep talk to just charge them up. But considering the fact that they have won it today, won it convincingly, I think the only thing he will tell them is just take it easy, just chill, maybe just get out, just get over the fact that you have done this because there's another game, rather a much more important game on our cards. And plus, when you have playing a team against which you've just lost a couple of days back, it does not make it easy. But one advantage which Rajasthan have is that they have played on the stadium Gujarat haven't. Even
Yeah,
though the
right.
pitch might be different and all the other things, but still getting in the middle, getting just acclimatized to the situation is one part which Rajasthan have an advantage. And I'm sure Sangakkara will stress on this point, and he'll just say that go out there, enjoy your game, give you 100%, and then let's just hope that we get the good result. That's the kind of talks he's been giving them throughout the season, and it seems to be working
Right.
for them.
Right. So a great journey for RCB. Like Salil said, not the best way to end the tournament, but nevertheless they reached the qualifiers too, and they've been fairly consistent in the last few years, given that they've been qualifying for the top four. But this year, that's it for them. Gujarat Titans will be facing the Rajasthan Royals, the game that we are much awaited game that's going to be taking place on Sunday in Ahmedabad in the very same ground where Butler has scored 100. So a lot to play forward to, lot to look forward to. The iconic IPL trophy is up for grabs. Is it going to be the two times winner Rajasthan or is it going to be the newbies Gujarat Titans in their home ground? So thank you so much, Rishabh, Salil for joining with me. We had a great conversation, a great match. We'll see you on Sunday for the big game. This was Time Out with Sports Adda. Good night.